Listening to the Non-Del Influencers podcast, brought to you by First Funding. Join host Matt Coles as he delivers powerful conversations to help non-delegated lenders succeed and scale in today's market.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the latest episode of Non-Del Influencer Podcast. Super excited today to have Matt Shields, branch manager of USA Mortgage. Good afternoon, Mr. Shields.
How you doing today? Thanks for having me on.
You know, it's always trouble when both of us are in the same room because we both respond to the name Matt eagerly and urgently. And I just know that it's nice. I'm going to call you Mr. Shields from this point forward.
I'll take that. Usually I don't get the Mr. Shields too often, but no, I appreciate that. And it was great seeing you at NAMB National in Vegas. It was great spending time with you.
Oh, man, thanks. I appreciate that. So you are very involved in NAMB and you're heading up the Young Professionals. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So NAMB's put a lot of resources for us young professionals this year. We're excited. We just raised our age limit to 40 years. So we were kind of capping at a 35-year-old until now going into 2026. So anyone 40 years or younger, we'd love to have them be a part of the young professionals. But we're doing a lot. So we have a monthly YP call where we're trying to just give value. You know, young professionals joining NAMB. Is it going to be, we do some coaching stuff here and there. We're having high-end experts come on to talk about branding and marketing and just really anything that a young professional can do to really find their place in the industry. Because as you know, it's such a hard nut to crack.
It is a tough nut to crack. But so someone who started in this industry in 2000 when I was a young professional, right? I was 22 when I first got my first job in the industry. Like the connectivity that exists today is far better than it was when I was a young professional. One of the biggest, I guess, things that I regret about my career is I didn't take enough time to network with people that were my age in the industry. So I love what you're doing. And what's driving you to be a part of this? What's the value that you're seeing from your own self professionally?
Yeah. Well, kind of what really got me into doing it was I, just like you, I got in the business when I just turned 22 years old. And I remember what I went through at that point in time of trying to make contacts and making the connections and growing my business. And it's just so much coming at you from so many different ways that it can be a little overwhelming. So I got involved with NAMB 3 years ago, and then, you know, honored that they asked me to kind of lead up the young professionals as committee chair. And I just wanted to just kind of help bridge the gap. You know, I feel like where I'm at now, I'm 34 years old. I've been doing this for a third of my life. You know, if I wasn't doing mortgages, I don't know what I'd be doing at this point.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever I can do just to kind of help bridge the gap from the people older than me, people younger than me. How can, you know, I've been through what the young professionals have gone through or what they're going through now. I've walked in their shoes. So if I can make their life a little bit easier, point them in the right direction, set them up with the tools that NAMB has to offer, that's my big goal.
What's the feedback that you get as, okay, this is, you know, you've probably been doing this kind of focused in for the last couple of years with regards to the young mortgage professionals. What's been the biggest feedback? You're like, okay, well, this is really hitting the right chord. Let's do more of this. What event or what aspect of what you're giving back is striking the biggest chord with everybody?
Yeah, it's, I would say, really the coaching aspect.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I just got my license 6 months ago. What are some of your best tips to go out and get realtor business? Or how are you doing your social media? I really want to be on social and brand myself. What are you doing that works for you? So I'm really seeing a lot of coaching aspect of it. When we do our young professional call, we do it the third Wednesday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we cover a lot of topics, but what I've noticed is I try to keep it very fun and like an open forum to where no one feels like they're being talked at. It's like, hey, this is an open discussion, chime in. And it's turned into the last 20 minutes, you know, what's the best way for me to grow my realtor base? What are some cost-effective ways to do that too? You know, they're just getting started. So kind of balling on a budget, you know, what are some things they can do to get business in, but then also best practices. So it's really the coaching aspect's been very fun for me. You know, I love sharing my stories to anybody who's willing to listen. But it's cool. Our call kind of turns into a coaching call the last 20 minutes. I'm having a lot of fun doing that.
So I took part in the MBA. I was lucky enough to take part of the MBA Future Mortgage Leaders program back in like 2015. And it really was one of the first times where I sat in a room and recognized the scope of everyone that touches mortgage, right? The job titles alone in that room. I'm like, I didn't even know. I've been in sales my whole time, right? Yeah. And so I just figured sales drove the bus on everything. And you're talking to legal people and post-closing people and operational people. And I just listening to that young group and that group that came together for that to learn about, oh my God, this industry is massive, right? We touch so many different aspects. I'm sure that's probably one of the most rewarding things as well for your seat.
Man, it's been so rewarding. And like NAMB, they offer so much. And we're doing so much behind the scenes legislatively. And, I'm just trying to bring that voice and help, really bridge the connection. And what I've been really loving is young professionals saying, how can I get involved? What can I do here? How can I join a committee? When's this education class? I want to go learn more about VA. And then even just like the tech tools, like Guideline GPT through Zetro has been a big one that our call loves on the young professional call. Because I'll pull it up, show them like, hey, does anybody have a question for a mortgage loan you're working on? Show them how easy it is to use and just seeing their faces light up. But, I just NAMB offers so much, and I just want to kind of help, shout from the mountains, hey, this is all the cool stuff we have, kind of just get them acclimated to NAMB and just feeling like you don't have to be a 20 or 30-year veteran to get involved and to give back to our industry.
So I always I talk to a lot of you guys at NAMB. I'm always humbled and blown away that you guys spend. It's not a paid gig.
Yep.
I'm humbled by your giving back to our industry. So first of all, thank you for that. Second of all, what drives that passion for you? What was the reason you're like, you know what, I want to get involved, right? Because you are a producing manager. I think you're a producing manager for a great lender. What makes you want to spend your very valuable time giving back for free?
Yeah. And thank you for saying that and acknowledging that, because, we all are volunteering our time and, family, we're going away from our family for a couple of days to go to a retreat, or we're going to DC to the legislative conference and give them back there. But I would say it really started for me when I was younger. My dad, he was a home inspector, and seeing how he was so into his inspection association and how he would travel and he would do all the things he did. So I kind of was exposed to that, housing industry, but a little different from mortgage to inspection. But it's just something I grew up with, and I saw him doing it, and I always really admired the giving back. And then I love seeing change too. And for me, how I personally feel is I can't complain about a problem unless I'm actually doing something to help fix it.
Yeah.
And the trigger leads bill is a huge one. A lot of people, a lot of time, a lot of effort. And, everyone's business was impacted by trigger leads to an extent. And, our clients, a client would call me frustrated about the trigger leads. And for me, it's, well, what can I do to help solve this problem?
Right.
So for me, it's very much that. It's like, I feel like I can't complain about anything if I'm not doing anything to make a difference.
Yeah. And there's so many easy ways to take action. I mean, the NBA with their Mortgage Action Alliance, right? I mean, they basically do everything for you. You just have to click a button, right? And I'm sure NAMB has some similar type of things. It's just, I would say the same thing. When I remember specifically going into clients' offices when comp plan rules were being changed, right? And everyone was rattling the cage. This is going back to like 2009, 10, 11.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what action have you taken? I've been to local at that time California Association Mortgage Professionals meetings. I've been to meetings. I haven't seen you there, right? Like, what are you doing in order to take action? No one's ever going to listen to me. But trigger lead, right? What you just said, people listened, and it's something that people definitely should be proud of.
And it's just cool to see from all over the country, different markets, different ages, different everybody, just coming together for the same cause. And you really feel like you're a part of the team. And being a young professional, joining NAMB, I didn't know a lot of people. I didn't know how it operated. I knew mortgage lending because that's, what I've been doing. But it was a huge eye opener for me on how things get done in DC. I was really honored to go lobby for NAMB in DC at Capitol Hill, speaking to like my local representatives, in the House and Senate.
That's just the coolest experience. I did that as well. That's
unreal.
Such a great experience.
We got a private tour of the Capitol, then we're in the basement of the Capitol meeting with staffers, and it was such an eye opener on how things get done, and it's just very, very, like you said, very rewarding to see like people band together and then see the actual effect.
So one of the things that I noticed at NAMB this year, which is NAMB annual for the last couple of years, has been phenomenal, right? I've probably been to 20 of them at least in my professional career. But one of the things that I noticed this year from some of the attendees, specifically the younger ones, was that they were there to be purposeful. And I wanted to, I ask a lot of people, especially people like yourself that do attend a lot of conferences. What's your game plan as you head into a conference to be purposeful while you're there? And what kind of follow-up do you do after you leave?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So going to it, one reason I love going to the events is how motivated I get. I feel like it's a great mindset shift where I'm around a bunch of people in our industry who care enough about our industry and their success to go travel and listen for a couple of days.
Right.
So I love the energy from it. The speakers, in my opinion, the mortgage business is evolving every year into something different.
Right.
The market conditions are always different. So what can I do to kind of have a leg up in the business, whether that's hearing from Barry Habib when he's speaking at the event, or just really any of the speakers giving us a forecast of where the industry is going, tips and tools that we should use, like AI is a big one. How can I implement AI in my business to be more efficient and better? So, and then being a sales manager, I have a team that reports to me. What information can I go get for myself, but what information can I get for them too? Because I want us to be a step ahead. Right. And I think just being a step ahead is the key, because everything's always evolving.
When you so take me through your journey in the mortgage industry. How did you get started, and where do you sit today, and what does it look like for you for growth and on a go forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of stumbled into the business. But most people, similar story. I was working full time. I was bartending at a golf club here in Central Ohio. I'm from Columbus. I was going to school full time. So I was doing just the grind all day, school, work, I'm working to pay for school, and vicious cycle. And I wanted something different. I didn't know what I even wanted per se. And then one of the mentors of mine, Michael Farrell, he's been very successful in the mortgage business for a very long time. He's the one who got me really introduced to NAMB as well. But one day he saw me just interacting with my clients at the bar, and he said, "Hey, I think you'd be great at mortgages. You're personable. You have a great attitude. I'd love to bring you in." And I started off as his, junior loan officer and assistant for the first couple of years. Grew into my own business, and then I started a sales team. Eventually became a branch manager, and it's been a fast 13 years, 12, 13 years now. But I love this industry. I think it's so rewarding. The effort you put in is what you get back. And that's very much kind of how I operate is if I'm into something, I want to give it my all. And if I'm giving it my all, I want to be rewarded for it. And I feel like that's the mortgage business, I
have a really unique perspective on young people. I think it's unique, but may not be. But I'm looking at my sales organization today over here at First Funding. I don't have anyone over the age of 33 on my sales team. I think everyone is 33 and younger. I just have, in the last 2 weeks, just hired someone who is fresh out of college. My right-hand person, she's a vendor manager for us. I was the first job out of college for her. 2 of my salespeople coming to First Funding. It was their first job out of college, but they've been with us for, over a year now.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun to watch the growth and see the industry start to take hold. But the reason why I wanted to go to this point is I think we should do a better job about saying that, I hope 10 years from now, people intentionally say they wanted to get into the mortgage industry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The idea of stumbling into it happens, I'm sure, across all careers. Mm-hmm. But I want people to come out of college and be like, I want to be in the mortgage industry. I think that's fair. I think we deserve a seat at that table.
I think so too. And where the housing industry is such a big piece of our economy. Right. It really, housing runs the economy. And it's such a rewarding job when, of course we get paid very handsomely for what we do. Right. But it's so rewarding you hear that first time home buyer wanting their first house. When you hear somebody who might've been renting for 20, 30 years, finally getting their first house. And it's so rewarding to just help somebody obtain that financial goal and that dream.
So shifting gears a little bit, you operate obviously as a branch manager for a correspondent lender. And you had mentioned right before we got on this call that you do some correspondent and some non-delegated. And I think that that's a really important topic for a lot of our lenders. Over here at First Funding, we work with a ton of non-delegated lenders. And I believe sometimes people go, oh, it's too much for me to take that next step to go to correspondent. I don't believe so, right? If that's your business plan, just come to us and we'll talk about it the way through. Can you kind of just take us through what that looks like in your world? Why correspondent on some, why non-del on others?
Yeah. And most of what I do is correspondent, FHA, VA, conventional, USDA, a lot of loans that we do in-house. Here at USA Mortgage, we do a great job of our processing underwriting team. So really your standard products we're in control of the process. I love having that control of the process. Mm-hmm. The same underwriter, the same closer. It's very easy, I feel like, to scale your business when everything is rinse and repeat.
Right.
But I love the non-del space because I have access to a lot of programs outside of the normal stuff that we can do in-house. Some of the vanilla products in-house. A lot of community access mortgages. A big one that I do, community access, doctor loans, jumbo loans. So I feel like when I go non-del, it's very intentional that I know the program that I want to use. And I feel like that makes me dangerous when I have standard stuff in-house, my normal processing time. When I go non-del, I'm not losing my branding, which is a big one for me. Right. Is the branding aspect. And it still very much fits in our flow of correspondent lending when we go non-del.
Was USA Mortgage always a core and non-del since your time there, or did it kind of evolve into that since your time there?
It's been that since I joined USA in 2019. I opened the office here in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. And very much how we operate now with the product mix is very similar. I do a lot of broker and non-QM loans. I do non-del on special stuff like we were mentioning. And then the in-house products for your, Fannie, Freddie, government loans. But very similar. I feel like USA, we have a good, it works. What we're doing works. So it's like, hey, let's not reinvent the wheel here. Because I'm noticing I'm doing a little more non-del lending than normal with a lot of these community access mortgages. So I would say more than ever, I'm probably doing some more than non-del stuff. That or jumbo.
Yeah. I from my seat, when I joined First Funding in the beginning of 2024, I thought there was some non-del business being done, but over the last year, I am seeing an explosion of young people starting their own shops and going the non-del route. And, you can thank, you name all the big distributed retail lenders out there. They teach them for us, and then they get excited, and then they go out and do their own thing. So thank you to all our distributed retail partners for all that training that you're investing in.
Right.
It's I think, and you probably may feel the same way. One of the things that might be very helpful for these young people that are coming into the industry, they know how to originate, right? They know how to pound the phones. They know how to crank but it's the business running aspect that maybe take a pause. Let's make sure we're doing all of our due diligence. Is that something that's on the NAMB agenda maybe for the year ahead, or on your game roadmap for the year?
Big roadmap for NAMB right now. And, we're really kind of going over a lot of the plans for the new year. Since NAMB National, Kimber White stepped in as president for the year. We're rolling out the agenda of home affordability. I'd have to kind of get back to you a little bit on that topic. Just give you the best answer, because speaking for NAMB, I don't want to misspeak or misquote anything. But I think that we're all about empowering the originator, the broker, if they're building their business a certain way. So I would say it's a part of the agenda, because we're just trying to bring every tool we can.
There's a space for it, and and that's whether it falls on NAMB's lap or not, right? That's not necessarily, but I just think that the roadmap for people is to say, all right, I want a successful broker shop. How do I convert this to a non-Dell shop? There is a little bit of a difference, and running a company is way different than being a fantastic originator. And I worry sometimes about the different aspects. I think people come in from our distributed retail partners, guns a-blazing, like, I can close 100 loans. Great. Do you have the back office? Do you have the accounting support? Do you have the financial support? Do you have everything that you need in order to run a successful company? And the biggest thing that I would say to people, just based upon my history, right, which is, you can run a successful company based upon production today, but what happens if that dries up a little bit, or vice versa? What I think is going to happen. What happens if you need to scale up immensely, just like that, because rates drop 0.5%. Right. And so I think there's some opportunity in there that we can definitely scale to that on a go forward basis.
I think so too. And kind of what you were saying of people getting out of college, getting into the industry, I think we're going to see a big boom of that, in my opinion, just for the fact of not everyone wants to go to a 4-year university. Right. People are going to kind of get into more set plans coming out of high school. And I think that'd be a great thing for NAMB or other people in our industry completely, is go to some of these high school job fairs, go to some of the high school stuff. And I know some people locally who are doing it more, who are realtors. I know a lot of realtors who are going to high schools and speaking about the opportunity to be a realtor as soon as you graduate. So I think we're going to see a big boom of loan officers. I think we kind of got through the tough period of some higher rates the last couple of years. And I think personally, a lot of companies are going to try to be growing, hiring more employees. And as you're, like you said, hiring more staff, how are you managing all that? You're not just an originator anymore. You have a team to worry about.
Well, so it's funny. I mean, it's great that you're saying that the people are out in front of the high schools. So in my previous company, back in like 2014, 2015, I brought on a young sales team as well, right? So I was really proud of myself for hiring like 3 rookie of the years in a row. And
that's pretty awesome. That's awesome, man.
Each one of them told me that in their business ethic class in college, they talked about the big evil mortgage broker. In fact, they had to watch and write a paper about the movie Too Big to Fail, right?
Right.
And so that's what I think we have gotten past. And that's where I think we can really tap into those young people coming out of college, because the industry is better and stronger than it was going out of 2008 to 2012.
Absolutely.
It is way better, and it is way more structured, and just as much of a golden opportunity today, but in a much stronger and foundational way than it ever has been before. And I believe that we can make that and reach out to that. All right. So as we sit here today, 2 different aspects. What do you got for yourself as a goal at USA Mortgage? And then second fold, what do you have for yourself as a leader at NAMB with the young professionals going into next year?
Yeah. So for USA Mortgage, my goal for this year, I want to hire 2 additional salespeople.
Nice.
I kind of have it in mind. I want to hire somebody who is already seasoned, maybe a good producer who doesn't quite feel they have the support or help to get to that next level. I want to take somebody's business and help them get to that top producer level. Nice. Then I also want to bring in somebody new who's green. And for me, I try to bring on at least one newbie a year, because when I'm bringing them on, I want to dive in with them, really, I'm in the weeds with them. I'm in the trenches with them.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, for me and my business model, I don't want to spread myself too thin because I'm still originating myself. So I would love to bring on 2 new salespeople on the team. Our goal is I'd love to do 100 million for our team.
Nice.
Then personally, that's me doing half, the rest of the team doing half.
Fantastic.
So really excited for the new year. And USA Mortgage are doing some awesome stuff for us to help recruit our talent with some coaching that I'm really excited to do some social media videos on and kind of blast the word out. And then on the NAMB level, because the young professional aspect is still, we're growing, you know, we're getting our legs, we're making some strides. I would love to have the Young Professional Committee where every state charter who's with us, they all have their young professional for each state. And then now we can team up as a whole. But if we have representation at each state level, well, now we can do local young professional events.
Right.
And help drive the word out even more. Another kind of NAMB goal for young professionals, on our monthly call, I'm trying to bring more and more experts on.
Okay.
So someone in the AI space talking, someone who's all about marketing and branding. And in January, I'm actually having the person who's my social media coach come on and talk about social and branding for the new year, how to really differentiate yourself. So just trying to grow the group and bring in as much, you know, value as we can.
That's awesome. How does someone get involved with the young professionals at NAMB? Where do they take step 1 and step 2?
Yeah. So one, if there's already a state charter for your state, get involved with call them first, because they can help make the connections into NAMB. If not, you can call me directly, go to namb.org, sign up at namb.org. As you're onboarding, we're taking, you know, age demographic that we know what group you'll be in. So whether it's reaching out to me beforehand, and I'm on all social medias as well.
Okay.
Instagram is my big one, matthew.a.shields. People, I'm getting a lot of DMs from young professionals now, which is really cool. Like, how can I get involved?
Nice.
But I would say just talk to anybody you know who's in NAMB. They can make the connection for you. That's really the best place to get started.
All right, Mr. Shields, can't thank you enough for your time. Keep on doing great work, and I'm looking forward to seeing young mortgage professionals continue to grow in NAMB. And you can count on First Funding for any support that we might be able to provide as well.
Awesome. Matt, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on today.
All right, cheers, guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Non-Del Influencers podcast, powered by First Funding. For more resources and episodes, visit nondelinfluencers.com.